So, Benga, she was actually sending the question to you as if she knew I wanted to hear your perspective, being someone in the HR unit. So, how do you suggest that we manage the African culture of respect and honor without leaders abusing it or trampling on the rights of their workers in the workplace?
The good thing is that if you try to trample on their rights, they will tell you to your face. Um, that phrase that was made popular in Lagos a few years ago, Sorosuke, honestly, I warned a few people in the corporate world at the time that that phrase has become, in my opinion, a culture statement or a management term to say, please explain yourself. Please let me understand what you're saying. Uh, yes, I recognize your authority, I recognize what you're doing, but whatever it is you're doing involves me as well. And so carry me into that thinking. If you come from that, I, I, I mean, as you asked the question, my immediate reaction was, can we please just remove the word elder and put leader? Because all of a sudden, if you put the word leader, then you know you can't coerce people for respect. You have to earn the respect. And even if you look at the question in another dimension, it's almost as if there is a preconceived bias against young people. And that's what we all need to deal with first. First off, you were young too at some point. The millennials that are talking today against Gen Zs were once, the center of attraction themselves. Um, so what we should have at the back of our mind that should really guide us as leaders and not elders is the issue of results, is the issue of impact and relevance in and out of the workplace. And if you do it that way, there is a wisdom, there is a level of creativity and innovation that we can then have access to. As we're asking the question, I just started to do something that the average young people does now in the workplace and at home. So let me just read, because it's not me. So I decided to just ask Google a question. How much fund has Inye Aboyeji raised? I didn't state the year. I know how long he's been in the tech space. I just said, and this is the very latest fund he has raised. So let me read the answer to you. Inyola Aboyeji, Nigeria launches a $672 million tech fund for young people. Don't bring out your phones. Don't calculate it. 672 million US dollars. So, excuse me, you can't stand before that person and coerce respect if you have not raised 672,000 naira. If you are not doing anything to impact anybody, don't shut him down, because he's just going to look at you and smile and just walk away, because in his mind it's like, where do I start from? Right? So at home and in the workplace, let's take that away. And that's what I wanted to just, and thank you for what, let's take that away. Or else the survival of your organization, of your business, of your life is at stake. Because what you can't see, these guys see it. And if you allow them share their thoughts, you'll be saving your business, you'll be saving your entire life, right? So that's one. The other bit is, I've been in this space for a while, and I'm glad to see the progress we've made in recent times. More organizations are being forced into it. As of July last year, the median age of Nigeria as a country became 18.1. Whatever data you're looking at, whatever the source point, 70 to 75% of our current population, let's say 220 million or 200 million, 70% of the population are under the age of 30 or 35. So we are a very, very young country, extremely young country. And if I look at the 8 billion of the world population as well, Africa continent is very young, and then the entire world itself is very young. My point is, more and more organizations are being forced. In fact, this year alone, I've run training sessions and retreat sessions to help executives and leaders to really, truly just, can we take down this bias? Can we just tear it down and see that person first as a human being, with wisdom, with something to contribute, with some value, that has earned the right to be in the workplace. I was still at Landmark University over the weekend, and I met a 19-year-old studying telecommunications engineering, and she's in 200 level. For some of us here, you were probably still in secondary school at that point. So the entire system around us is young and is having to cater for young people. And my message is simple: tear down the bias, open up to this, or else we miss out on value.
Please, a round of applause for that. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Gbenga, for that. And you know, I was asking Gbenga before we came on, and I said, "Are you ready for the Gen Z question?" He said, "You know, I don't like this Gen Z thing," and I totally agree with him. Why? Because these generations are just classifications for us to know when a person was born, not necessarily to label a person, right? So, which is why we need to bridge the gap, understanding fundamentally that we're all human beings. I think it was Sadhguru that said something when he was speaking to parents. He said the difference between you and your child is that you arrived here earlier. We are all learning. We are all a work in progress. So if we understand that, we can now harness everything. So to just wrap up what both of you said, it's about understanding that the Gen Zs, they just need transparency and honesty. And they are outspoken. And so you should see someone asking you for feed forward or questioning you as a means of connection, not because it's challenging your authority. Because if I ask a question and you answer, you help me clarify. And so if we understand it that way, we won't. Again, it's for the Gen Zs to also know, as much as all of us are a work in progress, the fact that I arrived here before you, at least there's some lived experience that I have gained that you should also honor. So Madam said it, respect is reciprocal. If we all respect ourselves, we can tap into the rich wisdom that all generations bring. Thank you. And Gbenga, I like that. Replace elder with leader. So when you go home and you're saying, you don't know I'm your elder, ask yourself, am I leading? If you are not leading, just carry that your elder and put it in your pocket.